we see the hard. I say we, the instructors, the program coordinator. We see the hard work and the achievements of our students every day. But when we're able to take this to a national level and be able to present it to the whole industry, this is how Forsyth Tech students are able to perform. It's amazing.
Welcome to Beyond the Bulldog, presented by Mack Trucks. I'm your host, Brian Wright. What you can expect from Beyond the Bulldog is to learn, enjoy, and participate from the comfort of your seat, whether on the road or off. You'll engage in topics and stories from people that work throughout the trucking industry. This is mile marker 30, and we have a special episode for you. We recently learned that Tully McKinley and Forsyth Tech Community College in North Carolina have won the 2025 TMC FutureTech competition. When we asked them to be a part of our podcast, they brought a team. We are joined by Alan Dabb, Program Coordinator, instructors James Murdoch and Phillip Grimes, and the winner, Tully McKinley, graduate of Forsyth Tech. In this episode, you'll learn about Forsyth Tech's approach to teaching diesel and heavy equipment technology, the opportunities that exist in this industry, and how participating in the TMC FutureTech competition helps both the program and its students.
You're listening to Beyond the Bulldog, presented by Mack Trucks.
Welcome to Beyond the Bulldog. We are here with Forsyth Tech Community College. We have Alan Dabb and James Murdoch, both with the program. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you having us.
Just to kind of open the show, I read online about this Super Tech program, and there's a Future Tech side where the students are participating, and I was pleasantly surprised and shocked to see Forsyth Tech Community College, which is just down the road, showing up as not only the winner, but also the school that showed and placed the highest. So I'm excited about talking to you about your program and how all this comes together.
Great. We do have a lot of student success, and we'd love to share that with you. So thank you for having us.
Well, let's start with you two. I'll start with you, Alan.
Okay.
What's your background? How'd you get into this industry?
So just like a lot of the instructors at Forsyth Tech in our transportation programs, I started out as a technician, actually a graduate from Forsyth Tech's diesel and heavy equipment program. So I feel like that helps me relate to the students, as they come through the program. But as a technician, I spent 15 plus years in the industry on the shop floor turning wrenches, stepped back into a part-time teaching role, and that led me into now 15 years of full-time instruction at Forsyth Tech. So, really can relate to the industry because I've been there, and also relate with the students as they come through the program.
Awesome. How about you, James?
A graduate of Nashville Auto Diesel College. So graduated college, took a job at Covington Diesel in Greensboro. So Covington was bought out by Clark. So 28 years, same company.
Yeah.
Shop floor for 21 of those years. Service writer, warranty admin for 7 years.
So with your experience for both of you on the shop floor, turning wrenches, and then moving on, what were some of the things that led to success? Like what were the right things that you had to do to get the job done, do it right, and minimize the chance that they're going to come back?
Yeah, I think that's important for all technicians, is to get to that point where you're very proficient on your repairs, but you don't have those comebacks. And I think for myself, that was training, staying with the cutting edge of where the industry was at the time. Also, good mentorship. So, finding someone in the work environment that doesn't mind sharing and, being able to listen to that individual, just take away, any information that was available. Yeah.
So the education never stops.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we tell our students, as they come through the program, to be successful, you're going to have to be a continuous learner. So what you learn today from the community college level is only a foundation. As you step out in the industry, you're gonna see that whatever company or industry partner that you'll go to work for, they're going to just add to that training as you spend your time with them.
So with your experience turning wrenches in the shops, what's some advice that you would give to someone entering the field that is a key to success?
So I think for myself, kind of relay back on what I said, that the path that I followed, I think I would recommend that individual to take any training that's available, whether that be with the company or outside. I mean, there's so many platforms of training that's available to anyone today, and I would definitely take the time to take that training in, and then also to work closely with those individuals in the shop who do have some time under their belt and they're willing to share.
Why did you get back into teaching? Right, you said 15 years you started teaching part-time, and now you're full-time, obviously, as the program coordinator.
So I think that was one of those things in life that's just happens out of my control, I would say. I really feel like that, as I was asked to come back to Forsyth Tech, being a former graduate, I was asked to come back and assist with a part-time teaching position. I really felt like I really enjoyed seeing individuals who would come into the program having, very basic, if any, knowledge of mechanical repair, and seeing those individuals graduate the program and actually be full-blown technicians. That's coming from, and I'm going to say that's probably was a struggle from the start, in the sense of the instructor role. Because as a technician, you're able to see in most days the repairs that you've made to a truck or a piece of equipment. So you see the gratification right away. As an instructor, that takes more time. You see an individual who comes in and you're able to assist and help that individual gain that technical knowledge. But then when you see them cross the graduation stage, or you see them 5 years later in the industry and now they're a shop foreman or some level of leadership, I think that's where at that point the gratification comes into play.
Yeah, completely get that. So tell me about the diesel and heavy equipment program at Forsyth Tech.
Great. So our diesel and heavy equipment program is a pathway for students to come in and learn the skills they need for employment. So when we take a look at that program, we have three basic pathways, because we want to be flexible to the students' work schedules, because all of our students are not traditional learners. They're not all going to be directly out of high school coming right into college for the first time. That is a large percentage of our students, but not all. So we have different pathways, and those pathways being a basic level certificate. We have a diploma pathway, which is a 1-year completion on that. And then we have a 2-year associate degree, full transferable associate degree that's going to require 2 years of time to complete. We do offer classes both day and night, depending once again on the student schedule.
So you mentioned the different levels. So how would each apply to, let's say, a career in the industry?
A lot of times when I'm having these entry-level conversations with a potential student, I'll describe the certificate as, if someone's out in the industry and maybe they've already been, turning wrenches for a certain amount of time, they do have some experience under the belt, but just don't have any formal training. The certificate is probably a good pathway for that individual. If we have an individual who doesn't have any previous experience or skills, but they're on a timeline, they need the proper training so that they will be able to step out in the industry and actually put their skills to work. The 1-year diploma might be a well pathway for them. And then, of course, if it's an individual who time is not an issue, and they're looking to get the maximum level of training we offer, then the 2-year associate degree would be a great pathway for that.
Do the classes you offer, are they influenced by the customers you have? So it would be a little more specialized versus a general type class?
In a lot of cases, the program has an advisory committee or advisory board, and the advisory board is made up from a number of industry partners. That could be on highway, that could be off highway, depending on what segment of the industry they're from. And those individuals actually will help us direct the level of training. And then, of course, when it gets down to student performance and those levels, that's where the actual employers of those students, will give us feedback at any given time about, changes or the level of in-depth that we would cover certain topics.
So why in the world would Forsyth Tech want to be a part of the TMC FutureTech program?
So I think that's been a continuous progress that we've made in that program. The first Forsyth Tech student that competed in TMC's FutureTech was back in 2015. So basically, we're at our 10-year anniversary with that, and I had been in contact with a number of industry, and this is really stepping out of our normal group of industry folks that support our program. This is more on a national level. I'd been in conversation with a couple of individuals from TMC, once again trying to get more involvement from college level programs, and FutureTech was basically a year old at that time, so trying to grow FutureTech as well. So I sent a couple of students down to Orlando, Florida, back in 2015, and when I stepped on the actual competition floor, and to see the level of industry that was involved with that competition, to see the networking that was happening student to student, to see the contacts that those students were able to make in the industry, it was just amazing to me. So from that point, let's just say I was hooked, as well as the students. And the competition happened. The young man that was competing for Forsyth Tech at that competition went on to win FutureTech that year. So very first year we compete, and we have the number one student.
Wow.
So, I guess kind of a best case scenario fell into place. But honestly, it all comes back to the experience for the student. And I think that's probably one of the things that we share with our industry and also with the college in general. What amazing experience it is for a student.
It raises the bar.
It really does.
Competition, you have a little bit of pressure. That happens on the shop floor, right?
Absolutely.
We've got a broken truck. We need to get back out, make our delivery on time. How long is this going to take?
Right.
Of course, the industry networking is enormous too.
It is, yeah. And I think that's one of the key tools that you asked a question earlier about what advice would I give for a student to be successful. I think that's one of the key points, because as a technician, I don't know that anyone has all the right answers, but having the resources at hand to be able to bring those resources in and work through a problem or solve an issue, whatever.
Yeah. In fact, James, you were mentioning that just before we started recording, that your group of instructors is like a family. You've got experience from all backgrounds, but you can rely on each other, right?
We can, absolutely. That's what makes us unique.
It is. And that's the trucking industry in general. You look at over the road or hauling, whatever it happens to be, it seems like it's generational. It goes from one generation to the next.
Right.
Everyone pretty much knows everybody.
Yeah.
I'm guessing in the diesel and heavy equipment world, that's the same too.
No, and it's even smaller when you talk about diesel.
Right.
Right. Everybody knows everybody.
So FutureTech helps you in a lot of ways, doesn't it?
It really does. It's an amazing opportunity for the students.
How has it changed your curriculum participating in FutureTech?
So I think that gives me as a program coordinator, or James and Phillip also as instructors, the ability to see where the industry's at. Commonly, when we're talking with the students about the competitions and how that plays back into the curriculum that we're teaching, it gives us the ability to see where the industry, how that aligns with our program. And, maybe there's an area, that's a topic that's new to the industry, and that's a way for us to learn about it. That's one of the I guess drawbacks to being an instructor full time is you're no longer on the shop floor in the industry every day. So you lose your direct connect to the pulse of the industry. And TMC, throughout different programs as well as the FutureTech competition, is a relay for us to be able to step in and say, hey, if it's important enough for a competition station at FutureTech, then it's probably important enough for us to be teaching in our curriculum.
Yeah. Of the 14 stations at FutureTech, you guys won 11 this past year. That's pretty good. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, that's amazing. I think myself, I was actually able to be at the awards banquet. My takeaway was probably about the same as most everybody in the room, 1,000+ people in the room, for that awards banquet. And, that's amazing to see, our students and their accomplishments and how they're able to step in. One of the students that from Forsyth Tech that competed in the competition, female student, and actually she made the comment after that because of the training she's received at Forsyth Tech and the way that we're teaching our students to pull in all information and be able to take that and put it into play for the repair, she was able to step into one of the stations that honestly she had never experienced prior to the competition. But because she already had the direction of read the information, find the issue at hand, and then now move that into a proper repair, she was able to take all that and just put it into play to where actually she came out with a top score in that particular station.
And as you guys know from working on the floor, or really anywhere, you're not going to have all the answers.
Right.
There's going to be something that shows up and you have no idea what's going on. So how would you address something like that? So James, a truck comes in, there's a problem with it, you're trying to diagnose it, and how do you figure out something you're not sure what the solution is?
Well, you step back and you think, maybe you take a breath, and you RTB, or read the book. So you read the book, you study a little bit, and you don't give up. Maybe walk away for a few minutes, and you don't give up.
Right.
So you don't let anything whoop you.
Part of the curriculum to it for Forsyth Tech.
Right.
Correct.
Problem solving, that's the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Well, James, so how did you get your first job? From, you said Nashville, right?
Nashville Auto Diesel. I graduated from there in 1995. Sent a resume to Covington Diesel on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
They hired me Friday.
Did they really?
Yes.
What was the
same
process
week.
like?
So it was back when you actually put your resume in an envelope and mailed it, right?
Yeah.
So I mailed it, got a phone call Friday, can you be here Monday morning?
Wow.
Yes, I can be there Monday morning. All right. Done the interview. Okay, go take your drug test. Come back the same day. All right, you start next Monday, because I started on the week of Thanksgiving. That's how I got my first job.
1 for 1.
1 for 1.
Well, that's terrific.
And it was really the same company throughout my whole career.
Yeah.
Covington Diesel. I think it was 2012 whenever Clark Power Services bought out Covington Power Services.
Going from Nashville to working at Covington, what did you have to learn? Clearly, it's a little bit different, right?
Absolutely. I had to learn a lot. I had to learn how to use, back then we had a ProLink reader. It's old technology now, but it was new then. So I had to learn how to use diagnostic tools. I had to learn basically almost everything.
Yeah.
Right. And I knew the basics. I knew the basics coming out of school, but Nashville was not much hands-on. It was more classroom-based than it was hands-on. But I had to learn the hands-on portion of it.
Yeah.
And so then I was trained for 3 months, right?
Okay.
I was trained for 3 months and then turned loose. So that makes you or breaks you,
Yeah.
right?
So were you building engines?
I was building engines.
Yeah.
So not just rebuilding engines, but diagnosing and fixing different systems within the engines.
Yeah.
So I've rebuilt a bunch of engines.
How about you, Alan? First job?
Yeah, so actually, from my experience, I stepped into an entry level role with a leasing company right out of high school, and actually because of the time frame that myself and James came into the industry, a lot of students were coming from Nashville Auto Diesel. And my mindset from a high school level was that that's where I wanted to go to. For everything to work out as it has in my career, it took a turn, just as life will a lot of times. And with the employer that I was working with at the time, they introduced me to the diesel and heavy equipment program at Forsyth Tech. With the help of this employer, I made the connections and I started into the diesel program at Forsyth Tech. So my employment into the industry actually happened before I started into the program. But I spent my time in the program at Forsyth Tech, and then I transitioned onto the shop floor for the same employer at the time of graduation, and spent those years, doing a lot of the. James mentioned he built a lot of engines, and the side of the industry that I worked in, it was more of, all aspects of the vehicle, customer relationships and things of that level that I encountered from a truck leasing division. And I enjoyed that because going into my job every day, so it was something different. It wasn't a repetitive, and you also got to have the interactions directly with customers, and you built those relationships. And as we were talking about earlier, those relationships, those contacts, that helps anyone continue or grow in their industry.
Question's going to come off funny. Why did they hire you?
I made good grades.
Okay.
Passed the drug test. Right?
That's important.
That's a big one. Made good grades. They took a chance on me.
Okay.
So the industry was in sort of a high demand back then, not like it is right now for new technicians.
Yeah.
So the time period when I was hired at Covington Diesel, we had probably 7 or 8 brand new techs. So industry was, or the economy was booming. The demand for technicians was there. I started out on second shift with, say, 7 or 8 brand new techs as well.
Yeah, so you mentioned today's economy. What's the demand now? What's the market like for new mechanics and those that are going through your program?
Yeah, the demand is still high. It's very high.
Is it?
Yes. So we have a shortage of diesel technicians currently right now.
What kind of companies are hiring from your program?
Fleet companies, OEM dealerships, so Velocity Truck Centers in Greensboro, Transource, the Mack, our local Mack dealer, James River Equipment from on the off-highway sector, Bobcat. The list goes on.
That's a lot.
Yes, a lot.
So what are they looking for?
They're looking for students that can be at work on time, and they're looking for students that are willing to learn and continue. I think Alan mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
So the education doesn't stop once you graduate from Forsyth Tech, right? So we're continuous learners, lifelong learners that we have to, once we graduate from college and get into the industry full time, you have to continue to do your online training and your hands-on training, so some instructor-led trainings to advance your career. So they're looking for somebody with ambition that can be at work on time and that can do a good repair.
Today we highlight Project K9 Hero and their mission to serve those who protected our families, our communities, and our America. Project K9 Hero works to ensure the best quality of life for our nation's retired police and military working canines by providing assistance with medical costs, prescription food, rehabilitation, rehoming, and end-of-duty services. Since 2016, Project K9 Hero has cared for and supported over 350 retired service dogs, honoring their life-saving work and allowing them to live their best lives after serving our country. And now, Project K9 Hero is embarking on a new campaign to build a rehabilitation and rehoming center to help even more dogs after their military and police service. To learn more and to show your love to these American heroes, visit projectk9hero.org. That's project, the letter K, the number 9, hero.org. Join us as we support these K9 heroes who have given so much to America. Well, here's our second segment. We have Phillip Grimes. He's joining us today, another instructor with Forsyth Tech. Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep. We also have Alan here from that first segment. So, Phillip, why don't you share with us how you got into the industry?
Okay, so as James mentioned, I too graduated from Nashville Auto Diesel College. That was kind of the place to be back in those days, as Alan mentioned. But so I graduated there. My first thought was that I wanted to be an automotive technician. So I actually spent 6 months in the automotive world, realizing that that wasn't really where my passion was. I switched from there to an equipment use company and worked on equipment for a little while, and then went into the trucking industry. I also worked for Covington Detroit Diesel. And then I was there for a couple of years, and a local John Deere dealership needed a diesel technician, and it was only 2 miles from home. So I made that switch, stayed with Deere for about 15 years. Mm-hmm. So the majority of my background is in the off-highway industry. About 15 years with off-highway, and then about 10 years on-highway. Mm-hmm. Had my aspiration to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Actually contacted Alan many years ago, and Alan, in his own nice, friendly way, told me I needed a little more time in the industry. So that's exactly what happened. So,
what was your calling to be a teacher?
I don't know. Having grown up in church, participating in Sunday school, things of that nature, I've always just had a passion for instructing.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the classes that you guys have? Obviously, hydraulics, general maintenance, and mechanic work. What other things are out there that you guys offer to prepare your students for these different roles?
I think another big one that kind of leads into what what our conversation was there with Phillip is preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is something that applies to on-highway, off-highway, and it's really the foundation for the longevity of the piece of equipment or vehicle. Mm-hmm. And we really spend a lot of time teaching to the level, because I think and I teach preventive maintenance. So one of the first questions that I pose to my students is, what is preventive maintenance? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the students early on will say, it's an oil change. It's a simple task of changing oil filters, that sort of thing. But when you get into the heart of preventive maintenance, it's really getting in front of a problem before it happens. So I think that's one of the classes that we teach in every pathway of our program, and I think the industry is directing that.
Well, downtime is that's the worst thing that anyone can have.
Exactly.
And when you look at missing an element of maintenance, and that could be brakes, that could be a tire change before you finally get down to, oh, this one's bad. If you can get ahead of the game, you're still rolling.
Right.
It might cost you a little bit up front, but then you're not going to have that exorbitant cost for being down.
It's not just the in the moment cost. It's what does it cost long term, and really letting them see how they play into that. Whether it being having a vehicle on a proper maintenance schedule, or just going back to the point of me being late for work at some point, or calling in sick, or those things really affect that overall cost as well.
So there's a saying that I've heard, at least in the racing side of things, where it'll cost you more to do the things cheaply, as opposed to do it right the first time. Can you speak to that a little bit, Phillip?
Absolutely. So I was just contemplating while you were talking there with Alan, but this preventative maintenance element to what we're teaching there. And you can look at it a couple of different ways. So I spent about 5 years with waste management. They looked at it a couple of different ways. So downtime, as you mentioned, that's definitely a bad thing. But the ultimate way of looking at this is safety. Mm-hmm. There's far too many truck accidents involving trucks. There's far too many trucks out there that do not meet DOT requirements, as you say, in braking.
Yeah.
Whether that's leaking chambers or rubbed hoses or too thin of brake wear thickness. But there's so many aspects out there of that, and that's where we're going to catch them. In fact, as I said, during my stint at Waste Management, they made a change to where no longer does the new guy, the inexperienced tech, do the preventative maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was no one but the seasoned techs, the A-level techs, could do preventative maintenance, because after you've got that a little bit of tenure behind your belt, you're going to notice these things that a lot of newer techs aren't.
Mm-hmm. A lot of what you guys are talking about, too, with teamwork in the diesel mechanic and heavy equipment industry is there's a team also with your instructors, and you've got different backgrounds.
We do.
So how do you guys complement each other? How do you separate the classes so that when you have new students, you're making not just the right impression, but also delivering the goods?
I think we all teach. Alan has done a really good job of allowing us to teach to our strong suits. Mm-hmm. And our passions. I have a little bit of a strong suit with electrical and diagnostic formats, and HVAC. So that's some of the ones that I teach. I probably have a little more experience hydraulics than say Alan or James. So that's where I'm at with the hydraulics. But yet I can't hold a candle to James when it comes to engines. That level of experience you're just not going to match.
Yeah.
So he definitely does a great job in the engines class.
And I think we all work with each other to assist in for an example, if we're doing a diesel engines class and the students are out in the lab and they're in the midst of some sort of diesel engine repair, that's where all three of us at some level will work with those students to give our experiences. And once again, those will all be different experiences because we all come from different angles of the industry. And James may have just covered more of the overall engine rebuild, where I might come in and give an insight to valve adjustment and the maintenance side of just maintaining that engine performing well. Mm-hmm. So we're all three able to assist and work with each other to, at the end of the day, give the students the best learning experience possible.
Let's talk a little bit about FutureTech.
Awesome.
Obviously, you guys are familiar with that. Alan shared some earlier. So when you're teaching, how does that kind of play a role in how you're preparing these students?
One thing that we have really set out and strive for is we don't teach to compete. We don't teach for that competition.
Yeah.
Now, when we attend these competitions, mm-hmm. we do pay attention to what they're testing on. Mm-hmm. Our theory is, if our industry is testing competitors on these topics, whether mm-hmm. that's cybersecurity or electricity or whatever the topic may be, if the industry is testing them on that, it's got to be a vital element within that industry. So we need to focus there.
So that should be kind of a litmus test on how you're doing on your normal curriculum.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily your curriculum is there to compete.
Absolutely. And that's, you speak of curriculum, and that's one of the really cool things of the diesel technology. Our program is, yes, we have a curriculum, mm-hmm. but it is very flexible in the fact that as you spoke of technology changes, mm-hmm.
You
go to bed at night, tomorrow morning something different's hit the horizon.
Right.
So we're flexible enough to where we can adapt to that.
Yeah.
Still maintaining our core curriculum,
mm-hmm.
but yet incorporating the things that are relative to the now. And we're very flexible in the manner of being able to say, that's 25-year-old technology. There's still trucks on the road that's using that, but
mm-hmm.
It's not commonplace. So maybe we need to take that out and add in, this, whatever
mm-hmm.
that may be.
This Week in History.
Happy Thanksgiving! We hope you have a festive Thanksgiving surrounded by friends and family over a hearty feast. We get to express our gratitude for those blessings we've received over the past year and share our stories. Whether you're sitting around the table together or separated by miles, this is your opportunity to reach out to those who are special. The American holiday was first proclaimed by Abraham Lincoln on November 26, 1863. Following Lincoln, other presidents proclaimed the holiday on the last Thursday in November. With intentions of extending the Christmas shopping season, President Franklin D. Roosevelt moved the date to the third Thursday in November. Not all states complied. And after a joint resolution of Congress, the current date, which falls on the fourth Thursday, was proclaimed. Thanksgiving quickly leads to Christmas season with Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping days. Remember the words of Van Staley with Forsyth Tech Community College from our podcast. If you bought it, a trucker brought it.
This has been This Week in History.
We are here with Tully McKinley, Forsyth Technical Community College, and I'm going to read this real quick. This is what I read online. Tully McKinley of Forsyth Technical Community College won the TMC FutureTech National Student Technician Skills Competition. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Why did you go to Forsyth Tech?
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Kelly Wolford. He's known my family, he's known my dad for a long time, and he recommended that I reach out to Alan here and talk to him about joining the program. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. To be honest with you, it's just a phenomenal program, and it's I've got great instructors and it's great resources. I'm really happy I went.
You were recommended to go through this program. So what do you want to do with it?
Well, right now I've been working at TransSource in Greensboro.
Great.
At a Mack dealership, and I'm really enjoying it there. I like working on the Mack products.
Yeah.
I think we've got a great truck and a great series of trucks on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like working with my hands, and I don't want to get away from that too much. And I know that after some time I might want to step back a little bit. This work it's hard on your body.
Right.
So I definitely want to stay in trucking though. It's been a part of my life for a long time. My old man, he's been in the industry. My mom sells ELDs. My granddad was a trucker. It's part of my pedigree for sure.
Yeah, we were just talking about how trucking industry is generational.
Sure is.
Once it's in your blood, you stay in it. So did you learn about the opportunity at TransSource through Forsyth Tech, or was it the other way around?
Well, I did go to Guilford Tech before I went to Forsyth Tech, and that was a good program.
Yeah.
Jonathan works up there, and he's a good instructor. And they didn't offer a degree, and I wanted a degree.
Got it.
And so I finished my time at Guilford, and Kelly told me you need to go for Forsyth Tech, and I went over there, and I started working at TransSource during my time at Guilford Tech.
So just real quick with TransSource, so what do you do there?
Right now, I'm a diagnostic technician. Mm-hmm. So they put me on day shift, and I work in the uptime bays, and that's sort of the driver's waiting, figure out what's going on with it, get it out the door.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoy that. It keeps me busy, and it keeps me, I don't know, it excites me a little bit. You get a little time lapse, gives you a challenge during the day.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. And along with Phillip's training, I've had a lot of background working with electrical stuff, and so it's something that I feel I'm pretty good at, pretty seasoned with. And so that's my main role is electrical diagnostics over there.
Kind of a loaded question. What's the uptime bay?
We've got 3 bays at our dealership that are dedicated to uptime diagnostics. And so along with Mack support, people can call a number that's on their visor in their truck, and that'll connect them to the uptime center. Mm-hmm. And the uptime bay will either contact us, or sometimes the fleet will also get a hold of us and be like, hey, we've got this guy. He's near you. He's having the check engine light, truck's in D rate, whatever the problem might be. Mm-hmm. And we're able to have all his information ready to go. So as soon as he pulls that truck and trailer up to the shop, we can slide it right in the bay, plug into it, and start doing our diagnostic to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. So that's dedicated for a quick turnaround too, whereas maybe a longer service would go to somewhere else, right? In a different bay?
Right. Yeah. So if it's something that if we have the parts for it, we have somebody who can do it, and we're able to get on it, the truck won't move till it's ready to get back on the road, hooked up to the trailer.
Yep.
And I think it's one of the nice things about having that dealership, because we've got all the resources right there. We've got massive parts department. We've got a whole fleet of technicians that are able to different skill sets that are able to get that thing done quick.
Nice. So have you graduated from Forsyth Tech at this point?
Yep, I graduated this year. I got my 2-year associate's degree. I'm really proud of that.
Great.
Really happy that I went for the full term. I got just about everything they could offer.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
When you started at TransSource, what was the oh my God moment when you realized, wow, I'm prepared, but this is different than what I was expecting?
Yeah, it's tricky with all the different OEMs out there. You've got so many different people putting trucks out. You got medium duty, light duty, heavy duty, on highway, off highway, all this different stuff. And then you get to a dealer environment where it's just small bubble, all kinds of different things in that bubble, right? And it's definitely different from a school environment. You get out of school and go into the workforce, especially at a dealership. It's a challenge to get acclimated to things, to get acclimated to different OEM processes. Mack's going to want you to do something different than a different OEM might.
Yeah,
and it's definitely a challenge to get used to that and to get used to all the different programs and resources. But it's worth it for sure.
How did Forsyth Tech prepare you for that?
Forsyth Tech does a really, really good job of working with all these OEMs and the fleets and the different industry leaders in the area. We've got, like he was talking about, they have the advisory board, and they get to meet every once in a while and talk about what the industry needs and how do we best prepare them for that.
Yeah.
And so we get, kind of insider access to a lot of these things, like looking up specifications for repairs or procedures and, RTB, read the book, learn the right way to do stuff. And another thing that they work with a lot is the Technology Maintenance Council, which has the Recommended Practice Manual. They release a new one every year. And with that TMC FutureTech, I get access to that manual, which is about 2 phone books. It's big, and you get access to just everything.
Nice.
You can learn how to do everything yourself.
Well, let's talk about TMC FutureTech.
That's right.
So, first of all, for those that may not be familiar, why don't you explain what that is, what goes on, what the format is? So
TMC FutureTech it's a few days long. It's a competition. It's held different places all over the country. They've had it in Orlando, Cincinnati. This year it was in Raleigh, so it was really handy.
Oh, that was convenient.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's really handy for us to drive over there. But you basically walk into this warehouse. It's full of vendors. It's full of people from different OEMs, different walks of the industry. And you've got, in the FutureTech part of the competition, you've got 14 different stations. So you'll have things like wheel end, engine diagnostics, cybersecurity, electrical, all sorts of those things. And you're graded on your performance on diagnosing and repairing the issue. So they might have a whole mess of tires out there that you could look at and identify what the problem is. Can you fix it? Is it branded? Tell me some stuff about this tire. When was it made? And you might go to an electrical station and say, this circuit isn't working. These lights aren't coming on. Tell me why. And so you're getting tested on all these different things, and it's really just grading you on your performance and your knowledge and what you know and what you know how to do.
Yeah.
It's a really great competition. It's really great for kind of just reviewing your skills and figuring out what you need to work on to be a better technician and what you've done a pretty good job as far as studying goes.
Is it like book and test, or is it also hands-on too?
It's a mix. A lot of the stations might have 2 portions, 2 segments. You'll have the first half, you might do a paper test, and it'll ask you, how many ohms or how much resistance does the circuit have to show you a picture, and then you might go test some lights and figure out the problem. And some stations will have some hands-on objects, like identify the issue, write it down, send it in. But it's a good mix of both.
What is cybersecurity as far as a station? I mean, I didn't realize that was even a thing when it related to diesel mechanics and heavy-duty equipment.
Cybersecurity is a term that they've been using over there to kind of talk about data links. The controller area network, CAN networks that all these trucks are operating on. You've got several different networks on these new trucks outside. Yeah. And it's used to describe the communication system for the trucks. And that station involved reading oscilloscope, which is a graph. You might see different waveforms for your DC communication. Right. And it'll show you the ELDs, these electronic logging devices talking to the computer and sending information back and forth.
Right. So it's not necessarily hackers trying to hack into the trucks, but it's the communication and the language of the truck inside.
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah, that threw me off a little bit when I heard cybersecurity.
Yeah, it made me nervous when I showed up at first, but I was like, I'm not ready for this. I don't have my black hoodie or anything like that. I can't be hacking into this thing.
So once you're there, you start going through these different stations. How long did all of that take? You said over a couple days?
Yeah, so the first day for FutureTech, we arrived, and that evening we did an ASE test, the Automotive Service Excellence. And luckily Forsyth Tech's really great about supporting that. They've got an on-site proctor, and as long as you're able to afford the test fees, you go in and register and do all that stuff, you can do it before or after class and have your test proctored and get that certification.
Yeah.
And I've gone ahead and done that while I was at Forsyth Tech. I got my ASE Master there. I think we'd all like to see that become part of the curriculum. It's just tough to fit all the information in a shorter timeline.
Yeah.
But first day was ASE test, and the second day was the 14-station competition.
Got it.
And then third day was training. We got to have training. We had ConMet, Roger May with ConMet. He loves to do some training, and he'll come and bring a bunch of demos and different things that we can look at and talk about the right way to do things and keeping wheels on trucks.
Nice.
And,
so little educational component as well.
That's right.
Very cool. How did you prepare for this?
Well, I mean, it's between work and school. I get all the training I can ask for.
Sure.
So I can go to Forsyth Tech and we learn all the stuff that they're teaching, all the stuff they're testing us on. And a lot of times we'll have people from outside of the network, outside of school, come in and train us on their product. Different vendors, Cummins Meritor might come, ConMet might come, and they'll talk to us about what we need to know to work on their product. That's really brilliant. Alan does a really good job setting that stuff up and keeping us on track to work in this industry.
Well, you had some competition from Forsyth Tech too.
I did.
Oh my gosh, I was looking at the different stations, and of the 14, 11 were won. By the way, you won 5 of them.
Yeah.
Congratulations, hooray. But I mean, there were some other people that were right on your tails,
Yeah, Madison Boone, she's a student at Forsyth Tech, and she's impressed me a lot. She's brilliant young lady. She's come a long way. She's a really good student, I think.
Did you guys work together in preparing?
At the time of the competition, I had graduated. I graduated in May.
Yeah.
And so I've had the opportunity to work with Madison in class and stuff, and preparing for other competitions like Skills USA. But before the competition, we didn't get a whole lot of time to work together on that. But we get the same teacher, same instruction, so we get the same benefits, I guess.
What advice would you give someone looking to participate at Forsyth Tech?
I mean, just do it. Put your phone away. Keep your eyes open. Some of these mornings are early, and it's tough, especially if you work nights after school. Just stay awake, pay attention, take your notes, and read the book. And listen to what these guys have to say, because it's worth a lot.
What's your favorite station?
My favorite station was probably the electrical diagnostics, the trailer lighting, stuff like that, just because it comes easy to me. I've grown up, always had projects with my dad, and we work on stuff, like making little radios or putting lights on his Jeep or whatever, and it's that stuff just comes natural to me. Yeah. So that was probably most fun for me, because maybe it'll knock it out quick.
So growing up, you had hands-on experience doing a lot of this, and this was just kind of icing on the cake. Obviously, there's a lot to be learned, right? But you had kind of a foundation of understanding it at the beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad and grandpa both, they love their projects. We got old cars and stuff to work on, and we never called a guy. Everything we needed to fix around the house, we did it ourselves. And so it's working with them on that stuff and getting that kind of background experience with electricity and wiring and stuff. It really helps you, and it really sets a foundation for what you're going to learn at school.
So at FutureTech, you've already competed. You're not sure who the winner is. How was that revealed?
Well, the competition was held on day 2, and the ceremony was on day 4. So we had ASE test, competition, training, and then the awards banquet. And they tell us at the awards banquet, who wins. Nobody knows anything until they call your name across the stage. Yeah. And of course, they have different station winners, right? So they call each individual station. Yeah. And I was making laps. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I was making laps. And they say, "You come on back up here, come get your stuff." And
great.
And I had a pretty good idea that I won after a few trips up there.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, I'm real proud, and I'm my family's real proud of me, and I'm glad that I could represent Forsyth Tech and bring home the bacon.
And for you, Alan, obviously you've got a whole class of people participating that are finishing in the top 10, top 20, and they represent your school. Now, how does that make you feel?
It's amazing. I think we see the hard. I say we, the instructors, the program coordinator. We see the hard work and the achievements of our students every day. But when we're able to take this to a national level and be able to present it to the whole industry, this is how Forsyth Tech students are able to perform. It's amazing. And here's one of the things that happens, but behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. When those individuals like Tully come back to class and now they start sharing with the other students in the program about their experience, what they learned. We're only as good as what we're able to identify and see as far as what we know and what we don't know. So if we never get in a situation where we don't see certain tasks or topics, then how do we know that we either know it or we don't? FutureTech is one of the great aspects to it is it gives you that opportunity to see what you know as a student, mm-hmm. And be able to showcase that. Plus, it shows you what you don't know. And then from that point, most of the students will probably bring that back to class, and they'll lock into those areas where they might not have been so successful. And then again, they're sharing with the other students. So your whole program is gaining knowledge and growing from just one student competing.
So clearly, FutureTech helps students. Right? Kind of gives you the feather in the cap. I've done the right things. It's showing off in a competition format. And not only that, you can network, meet your next employer. On the school side, holy cow, it's the litmus test. Are we doing the right things day in and day out so that the results are proof in the pudding? So clearly, more colleges participating in FutureTech obviously increases the competition, but it also throughout the industry improves the quality of education and those students going into the workforce, right?
Agreed. Yeah, definitely. It's a great tool to improve the industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was Tully a good student?
Tully was an amazing student. As Tully said earlier, he came in with a basic level of training previous to Forsyth Tech. His main objective or goal was to complete his 2-year associate degree. So the foundation was already in place. So that makes the training very easy when a student comes in with that basic foundation. And then it just gives us, Forsyth Tech, the ability to just add, just bring more knowledge to the table because you can't bring this advanced training if the foundation is not in place. So with the foundation already being there, now we were able to spend more time in advanced areas. And I would say Tully as an individual, he's not satisfied with just the bare basics. He's always driving to grow himself as an individual, and learn all the things he can learn.
Well, I appreciate that, Alan, and I'm really grateful for you and Phillip and James for everything you've done for me, and the training experience at Forsyth Tech is just, it's one of the best in the world. And I've heard feedback from everybody, and you can't throw a rock in my shop without hitting somebody who's gone to Forsyth Tech and who's learned with these gentlemen and who's gotten something out of it, and they're all top of the line.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yep,
great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into Beyond the Bulldog with Alan, James, Phillip, and Tully with Forsyth Tech's Diesel and Heavy Equipment Technology program. Our podcast is centered around providing stories and content that keep you entertained and informed. Let us know what you think about this week's podcast and share ideas about what you want to hear and who you think would be a great guest. Please leave your suggestions in the comments section below.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure to follow the Bulldog.